Welcome to the Ball Rock Pill Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Koran Godwin, founder of ballhoggloves.com. I'm with my co-host, Stephen Bardo, Fox Sports analyst. How you doing today, Stephen?
Doing well, Koran. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I can't complain at all. Today is draft night, NBA draft night. It's a night where a lot of lives change. And I was talking to someone earlier, and they were actually extended family, so to speak, of a player that's probably going to get drafted tonight pretty high. And it just dawned upon me that, a lot of times people criticize people for leaving early, of course, and saying they need to get their education. But this decision is so far-reaching. I mean, you're talking about families being impacted. You're talking about your niece that may be in a bad situation, that may live, below the poverty line, now going to private school. You're talking about your nephew being in a safer environment now because they can actually go to a real basketball camp, where people are being taken care of. I mean, there's such a wide range and impact. And I was talking to this gentleman, and it was almost like it would be selfish for the kid to go back to school, just because of the impact he has. What is your take on this decision to actually declare for the draft if you're ready and you're a bona fide, top 15 pick?
Well, I'll give you the example of Michael Porter Jr., who's coming out of Missouri after 53 minutes played at Missouri. He increased he was a big part of the reason why Missouri sold out of season tickets this year. Yeah. So he played 53 minutes. They had an increase in revenue of over $2 million. And so when I look at that, and I look at, what we're trying to do here, Koran, is trying to educate players and their parents and people who care about these players to be more informed. So you think about this, there was a $2 million+ increase on ticket sales alone because of Michael Porter Jr. coming to Missouri. Had he been able to negotiate, let's say 10 to 15% of that increase, he's looking at $300,000. And that's just a percentage increase on his arrival on campus. So if he's not going to receive any of that, he's not going to receive any of the concessions, any of the apparel that might even equal the ticket revenue increase. I'm not talking about the total ticket revenue. I'm talking about this is an increase from last year to this year. If these guys aren't benefiting any in this scenario and they're ready to go to the NBA, I think it is selfish for them to try to go back to school and not maximize on their talent because these guys have a small window with their athletic ability, and they're also risking injury when they go back to school.
And I think it's important you said that because the moment that you actually get a scholarship, obviously it can be worth anywhere from, $100,000, $200,000. We're talking really about a business transaction.
That's right.
Because at an early age, you're going to earn that scholarship. All right. This scholarship is just not going to be given to you. This is an athletic scholarship, and you got to get up in there early. You got to get up in the morning early. You got to hit the weight room. There's an obligation on your part. And being that that's the first business decision, the decision to go to the NBA is another business decision. And I always tell people, people will say, well, is the kid ready? Maybe he can come back and do another year and even get even better. And my whole thing is the marketplace is the marketplace. Mm-hmm. So this year, if he's a 6'3" point guard, he may be in demand, for whatever reason. There may be some contractual things going on in the NBA where a lot of teams need a point guard right now. Mm-hmm. That might not be the case next year.
That's true.
And we've seen the game change dramatically in the last couple of years where you have some bigs that are now dinosaurs. Mm-hmm. Guys like, I believe Timothy Mozgov, I believe he signed like a crazy deal. That was right before, he was actually turned into a dinosaur. Guys that can't really move their feet, guys that don't stretch the floor. So the marketplace is the marketplace. And, if it was my son or myself coming up, if I'm a guaranteed top 15 pick, it's something that, when else are you going to have the opportunity for somebody to put millions of dollars in your pocket without you even earning it yet? Just think about that. When the first pick of the draft is going to make over $30-something million contract. I think 33 million last year.
Okay.
These contracts are going up
On the rookie deal?
Yeah, and the rookie deal, I believe the first 2 years are guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
You sign a 4-year deal, so to speak, and obviously you can get extension and all that, but the first 2 are guaranteed. And it's pretty good guaranteed money for a commodity that isn't proven yet, so to speak. You haven't done anything. You get your sneaker deal, you get this. And what's your take on just, the mindset of a player transitioning now? Like, let's say you made that decision that I'm going to go to the NBA, all right? What's your mindset in this transition? Because now this is actually when all the business starts. We're going to talk about the shoe deals. We're going to talk about the deal from Lids. We're going to talk about the baseball card or basketball card deal. You've been through the process before. You know a lot of people that have gone through the process. Now that you're pretty refined, and let's say I was a prospect that declared today, what would you tell me would be my first objective after I get my agent and my business manager?
I would tell you to put yourself in the position of being in the NBA as quickly as possible. What do I mean by that? Try to arrange through your agent a workout situation where you can get with other guys who are either in your time frame, who are trying to get to the, who are declared and are first round locks. Try to either work out with them or work out with existing NBA players. Preferably try to get with some existing NBA players, because if you're working out in the summer, let's say the draft is over and you know where you're going to go. If you can get to that city as quickly as possible, or you can arrange something with a couple of the veterans or a couple of the 2 to 3 year players to where you can work out with them, they can cut your learning curve exponentially. And so when you're working out with them, they can show you different things that they're doing. They can talk about what the road is like. What hotels do you stay in? What does a typical day look like that there is a game, there isn't a game? What are some of the things that, like, say, Koran, if you were a 5-year veteran and I was a guy that was just coming out, I would ask you, what do you do with your downtime? There's a tremendous amount of downtime.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Are you interested in anything off the court, like, business ventures, things like that? Be a sponge, because the thing is, it's easy to get drafted and it's easy to get that first contract. It's hard to get that next deal. And that should be the goal. If you are a first round lock, okay, now the work that you've put into this point has gotten you to this point. But that's it. That's over, because now you're in the elite of the elite. And so you have to figure and be a sponge to everything that you possibly can in order to be successful, because the game is far more than lacing it up and getting on the court. A lot of guys get caught up off the court. They may not know the culture of the franchise they're going into. Veterans can let you know, hey, this coach is a little bit crazy, or this guy's cool, or, work with this person in the front office, don't work with this person. There's so many nuances and things to get used to that if I were to consult a young player right now, when you figure out the team that you got drafted to, I would start making calls immediately to start working out with some of those veterans and start to meet some of the front office people so that you get a head start.
And I believe that's great advice. And I asked myself the very same question I just asked you. And just being around NBA guys and being in the business for a while and going through the process, as you know, it's really a game of debt, because you figure, you're not going to get your first NBA paycheck until October. So think about that. If you're a highly touted first round pick, top 15 pick, there's going to probably be a loan involved, especially if you want to get your car, especially if you want to, move your family out of the situation. You're talking about debt, that's not going to be paid until, a couple months later. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the game of it if your parents don't come from wealth. That car dealer, he's going to let you off the lot without anything. Just like yourself, I believe you were in the same situation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just imagine the amount of money that they would be willing to let you borrow, knowing that you're guaranteed to make $10 million next year, or anywhere from 2 to 10. So, with that in mind, I had a question for you, or maybe just a provocation. You're not allowed as a college player, right, to make money off your likeness. Okay, correct. And we all know that a person such as yourself, you're on campus, Illinois Final Four. If you're a highly touted first round pick, I mean, those people love you. I mean, when I say love, they love you.
Yes.
So the minute that you declare, and obviously, you're declared now, you're not under that umbrella anymore. Do you feel like a player such as yourself, or even just multiply yourself 10 times, you're Stephen Bardo, you're going to be a top 10 pick? What type of audience do you think that you could demand if you did your own signing in a local mall?
Oh my goodness.
Give me a number. You're at Illinois.
Wow.
Champaign Mall, wherever the biggest mall is.
Mm-hmm.
You have Twitter now. You have social media now. You have means to get the word out.
Yes, you do.
You announced that you're having a post-draft signing where you're going to actually have pictures and T-shirt, memorabilia that you're going to be signing, which may end up being a lot of money one day. You know how it is on eBay. You have Shaq's signing day, and you had a picture with him to prove that this memorabilia was signed by him. How many people do you think you can get to line up and come see you at the mall?
Koran, if you get creative, like you said, with the use of social media, and you can get a plug, like a place like Champaign is smaller and it's a little bit older community, so they're still a little bit more traditional in terms of their media, but the newspaper, the radio, even the television stations in that market would love to promote something like that, because they'll be on site.
Yeah.
All the media will be on site for that event. So, I mean, I would think Kendall Gill and Nick Anderson were lottery picks. Those guys could have gotten 2,000 to 3,000 people.
So 2,000 to 3,000 people. Let's say a picture with him that can be printed out. You hire a photographer. It's not much. Photographers have printers. You take the picture, you print it out, you sign it. $50. Not a lot of money. Another package, $150. You get the T-shirt. You get a T-shirt, and you get the printed picture with it. So you're telling me $3,000?
No,
I mean, 3,000 people.
Yes.
You times that by the medium, in between 50 and 150, $100. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money, and that's your creative mind.
That's $300,000.
Huh?
Is my math right? That's $300,000.
Let me do it real quick. What do we say? $100 medium cost times 3,000. I think.
Yeah.
Yep. That's $300. That's $300,000. Well, let's say there was 100 people that showed up and did that. You're looking at $100,000 payout the day or week.
1,000 people. It was 1,000 people.
Yeah, it was 1,000 people, which was a drop in the bucket for those.
Yeah, that's nothing.
It's nothing. And so, let's say you want to be gracious to people and you want to have like a 2 to 3 hour window, please. 1,000 in a market that is small but heavy University Illinois centered. Man, they would really clean up. So that would be a business opportunity. And
that right there would take care of that debt problem. Because you need the Escalade for the family.
Correct.
And you need your own nice car so the veterans don't laugh at you, because you already know you pull up in something regular, you're going to be the joke of the locker room. A lot of guys people understand that there's an air of pressure involved in this environment. So, and not to mention, that's at your school. What about when you go home? Wherever your home is. What if you're from Chicago? What if you're from there are people that will support you that been supporting you since high school. They just want to come out and shake your hand and take a picture. They'll do that.
That's true.
And
like you said, in a market like Chicago, Kendall and Nick could have done that 2 or 3 times. What the scenario we just laid out, they could have done that easily 2 or 3 times and been.
Well, yeah. And you said 2 or 3. Like you can literally go on tour for the state of Illinois.
That's correct. Because we did do that after we finished playing Koran. Those barnstorming tours. You know, I know they were very popular in the ACC. They were really popular in the Big Ten, where, you know, we would just play games and they would pay us money, let alone this was before the draft. But even after the draft, like you said, you could set up the 5 biggest markets in the state of Illinois to have a meet and greet, sign, memorabilia type thing. And really, you know, that I'm kind of mad right now because I didn't have that idea when I was coming out.
Hey, man, I tell you, man, you needed me on the team, man. I was too young at the time.
Sorry. Right about that.
But just think about all these guys can do this. I mean, and some of them can do it nationally. You know, if you're like a top pick, like literally, if you're the #1 pick, I mean, people will come out to see you just because you're #1. You know,
that's right.
That's like a guy like Trae Young, he led the nation in points and assists.
Yep.
He can go anywhere. You go to New York, you go to New Jersey. People will come out just to say, "Hey, man, you know, you inspire my little son here. I love to watch you play. You know, good luck. You know, wherever you're going."
Yeah, and you know what? And he's one of the more polarizing players I've seen the draft in years. So he would be a phenomenal candidate for this type of business setup that you're talking about, and could clean up.
Oh man, yeah. Especially in Oklahoma. I mean, he may get more than 3,000. To be honest with you.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, like you talk about the small markets. The small markets actually, there's nothing else to do.
Exactly.
You know, if you're in Oklahoma, I mean, what else do you have to do but to go see Trae Young?
That's right.
You know, whereas, you know, if you're in Chicago, you may have some, you know, you may forget about, oh man, I remember, you know, but in the small markets, I mean, you may get 5,000 people.
That's
you
true.
know, I mean, you saw what LeVar Ball did with his pop-up shots. You know, he's having pop-up shots, throwing it out there on Twitter, and he's getting more than 5,000 people. He's getting a line, and he's doing 7 hours. So he's all day, you know, and his T-shirt is $50. So he's doing pretty well for himself. Just to transition, now that we're on this topic of the draft and the recent events, Jay-Z, man, in the Puma deal, what a splash! I mean, who saw this coming? I mean, it's been 20 years in the making. I remember 1998. You know, I played in the late 90s. You know, with Vince Carter. I mean, the last time that they were in basketball, and you know, smart move by them. Obviously, they had a relationship with Roc Nation for a very long time. Rihanna. People of that stature. They have Meek Mill. You know, they definitely were making inroads in culture. But now we're talking about basketball. They may have the top 2 picks. You know, they have Ayton, and they have Bagley. And now they got Michael Porter Jr.
And they got Zaire Smith, who's going to be the next round pick. Yeah.
Yeah. So what is your take on that? And did you see that coming?
I didn't see it coming, Koran, but I absolutely love it. And here's why. I think Jay-Z is changing the game. Roc Nation is really changing the game, where shoes are really marketing. I mean, the difference between a Nike and a Puma is very minimal, especially when you're talking about guys that are at this level, at the elite level. So Puma will go all out to make the technology maybe better for the guys that are wearing them than actual ones that are selling on the market. But
yeah, they can customize them.
They can customize them. And so the thing is that it's a great lesson in markets, and that there are a lot of different players in the marketplace, and alignment, teamwork, partnerships with somebody that can see your vision. So Puma, I mean, who's made a bigger splash in basketball as they re-entered this arena than Puma has in the last 20 or 30 years? I don't think anybody has.
Yeah, it's just Under Armour entering the market, but a re-enter, I haven't seen anything like this before. I haven't seen Converse come back. I haven't seen Reebok really come back. So yeah, the re-enter, this is the biggest I've ever seen.
And the thing of it is, it's kind of cool because Puma, you know, for sneakerheads, it's iconic.
Oh yeah.
Whenever, this is funny, whenever I go on the road, I look for the Clydes. If they got 14s, I don't care what color, I'm grabbing.
You're grabbing them.
I got 3 pair myself. The low cut, suede, Clyde Frazier's. Come on, man. That's an iconic shoe. And so the fact that Puma has taken their iconic stature, re-entered into the basketball realm with Jay-Z, who has Rock Nation, who is changing the way that sports business is conducted. It is a power move. It's so refreshing, and it's so good to see different power players in the game now having influence and being disruptive and making people actually work for their money now. It's actually good to see.
And Jay-Z, like you said, he's just a game changer. I remember when he actually sold back his shares of the Brooklyn Nets because he realized that he couldn't actually become an agent if he was an owner. And at first, everyone was like, well, why would he do that? You know, it's cool to be an owner, this and that. But I think that the philosophy of, you know, you would rather have 1% of everyone else's work than 100% of your own. He is really displaying how this works on a grand scale. Obviously, Rock Nation, just as an umbrella company, being able to be a record label, but also more than that, being a management company, you know, where you can get a large percentage, you know, 10 to 20% of the work that you give your clients, and also the relationships with corporate America that makes it so attractive to want to be with a company like Rock Nation because of the ancillary benefits of, you know, this commercial or this relationship that allows you to just, you know, bypass a lot of the roadblocks, so to speak. So I think it's a tremendous move on his part. A question for you: if you were an athlete, you know, obviously what Puma is offering is more money because those guys are getting more money than they would have got, you know, probably at you know, other shoe companies, and I guess they're offering marketing as well because they don't have any marquee guys. I mean, they're literally starting with you. Is this a move you would have made, or would you like a more established brand in basketball?
No, I would have tried to align myself with Rock Nation as quickly as I possibly could. When you look at the landscape of a sports business right now and the merging of the music and sports, Rock Nation has done it as well as anybody. And so you gave me this example, Koran, a while back, maybe a couple months back when we were talking about this. If Gillette, a shaving company, if they want to get to an athlete because Michael Porter Jr. is this guy that supposedly is a vegan, he was homeschooled, he's an extremely bright young man, he's got a different way about him, he's got a different kind of makeup. If you want to make a splash and get into a younger market, Gillette's calling Rock Nation today. There's 100 corporations trying to get into Rock Nation today to get access to these guys. And so when you see a Saquon Barkley, probably the top running back coming out this year, go with Rock Nation. When you see Aaron Judge, I believe, from the New York Yankees, has signed with Rock Nation. When you see top-level athletes from different sports getting with Rock Nation and the splash that they're making in basketball, I would try to go with them because that's the way the business is going. And I you know, to me, if I would have had good counsel at that point and they were interested, I would definitely listen to a proposal from Rock Nation and go that route because, you know, as you mentioned, all the corporations are going to have to deal with them. It's going to be, you know, Jay-Z is Gary Vee now of the basketball sports world.
Yeah.
He really is. And he got a fine wife, talented. Yeah. You know, his businesses have done quite well. He's iconic in the music industry. He's getting ready to be iconic in the sports industry. And anything Rock Nation seems to touch right now is turned to gold. So I would definitely go with them and shun Nike and Reebok and Adidas because they're going to pitch.
So you would sign with Puma?
I would sign with Puma because here's the thing. It's new, it's fresh, and if you're in the first crop of players that are going to be with Puma, they are going to bust their tail to get you marketing opportunities and get you out there because they're riding the wave. They're on a tremendous wave right now. Believe me, in tonight's NBA draft, Puma will be mentioned at least 5 times.
You're right.
And nobody would even thought about Puma had they not made these moves. But tonight, when everybody in the basketball world is going to be watching this NBA draft, Puma will be mentioned at least 5 times. They could not pay for that kind of advertising.
Yeah, and I think that it's important that guys really think about these choices, because what you said really hit home with me, because a lot of times, if I grew up as a Nike guy or as Adidas guy, like that's the sneaker that I want. But you just said they can customize it to you. Whatever company you choose, that the shoe that the average person wears is not gonna have the same fit as your shoe.
That's right.
So even though I may be a Adidas guy or Under Armour guy, Puma can customize my shoe to feel like that. I can give them a Nike shoe and say, look, this is my favorite shoe right here. I need mine to feel just like this. And know how I have engineers that be able to make it happen. So that's great information. And I think that, I love when people disrupt the market. I think that it was a great just idea for Puma to actually have Jay-Z as the CEO, because they get to utilize his brand.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and he could get to anybody. You put him in a room with a kid. I mean, come on, he put him in a room with us. Before he even gives us an offer, we halfway signed. You know how they say when Michael Jordan was going to the hole, the referee had to whistle when it was halfway blown. Yeah, well, it's the same way with Jay-Z. We in the room with him. We just want to know what the numbers are.
That's right. That's real talk. Koran, so what do you think is going to be we're seeing the immediate impact. What do you think the future is going to look like for these other companies that are going to have to compete with Puma and Jay in this collaboration? What do you think it's going to do to the marketplace, and will it improve options for players moving forward?
Well, I think that what this is illuminating is that business is now run by influencers. Influencers are people that have, that influence. Jay-Z, obviously, he built a strong brand. So anyone that can build a brand and get a message out to the people, is an influencer. Now, most of our influencers these days are online, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. Those are the people that move the market. I mean, you have people that are becoming famous every day for just making people smile. As funny as that is, that gentleman has a platform.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to get any message out, you have to have an influencer. So I think that more and more, these large corporations, the New Balances, the Converse. I mean, Converse, all they need is a redesign and to find an influencer.
Yep.
That's it.
I agree.
And once you get those two things, now you can go out there and you can compete with the big guys, because that's what it's all about. It's about leveraging other people's brand, So I think that this has a tremendous impact, not only in the basketball world, but as you said, Gillette, like anything. If you need to sell something, the first thing you need is attention. So people are going to go towards people, with attention, i.e. Kanye West. He's one.
That's a great point.
He's one of the best at it. He was at Nike. He switched over to Adidas. Did it matter? It didn't matter. The only thing that mattered was Kanye West.
That's right.
He sold just as much as Nike's going to sell Adidas. It's because they're not coming for the sneaker. They're coming for the brand.
Right.
He sold a $100 white tee. How do you sell a $100 white tee? You explain that to me. It's a white tee. There's no logo. How do you do that?
Like you said, branding.
It's branding.
People want to be a part of it. They want to be a part of that.
Yeah. So another great show, Stephen. Anything else? Any other topics that you want to broach before we leave?
I'm gonna give you a little story, a little comedy at the end. It's I always like to share this on draft day, because in 1990, I was projected anywhere between the 25th pick to like the 50th pick in the draft. So that's a wide range, but so it's a great day. It's a nervous day, and was in St. Petersburg, Florida, with my family, my sister, my brother-in-law, my brother, one of my best friends who's now deceased, God rest his soul, and my parents. And so the whole day, man, we're trying to figure out how to kill time, because I'm nervous, man, like crazy nervous. So my brother-in-law was like, well, man, why don't I just make you a Long Island iced tea so you calm down and relax?
Oh.
Five of those later, the draft is starting, and I'm tore up. And I stay up long enough to see Kendall, my college teammate, Kendall Gill, go number 5 to the Charlotte Hornets, and then I pass out. The next thing I know, my brother and my friend are waking me up, trying to throw me in the shower to revive me because the Atlanta Hawks just drafted me the 41st pick of the second round, and they knew that the general manager was going to be calling. And so as I'm, trying to dry off from the shower and get myself together, my mom says, baby, just say, yes, and thank you. And all I remember when Ed Babcock, the then general manager of the Atlanta Hawks, called, I just was saying, yes, and thank you. And so for all the draft, the draft prospects, congratulations on making it to this point. If you get nervous, stay away from the alcohol.
There you go. Words of wisdom. All right. Another great show, Stephen. Don't forget, you guys, to subscribe on iTunes and also the YouTube channel. As always, God first, working till. See you guys at the top.
Peace.
All right.